Hi, and welcome to Predictive Analytics. It's all around us. IBM SPSS Modeler. The agenda for today's webinar is we're going to start off talking about who is Lodestar Solutions. Then we'll get into Predictive Analytics. We'll do an SPSS Modeler overview. Talk about the capabilities within SPSS Modeler. This agenda here is for a larger presentation, so we probably won't have time to get into entity analytics, text analytics, modeler server, social network analysis, and integration with other IBM products. But we have a separate webinar that covers that. So look for that coming in the next couple of weeks. About Lodestar Solutions. Lodestar Solutions is an IBM premier reselling partner. We typically can sell IBM software for a lower price than if you went directly with IBM. We're not in competition with IBM. It really is a true partnership. Typically, you'll work with a Lodestar sales representative alongside your IBM sales rep. We can also provide discounts on your support renewal bills. We take the time to review your support bill with you to be sure that you're aware of any current entitlements and verify that your bill is correct. We're also a service provider. All of our consultants have real-world experience. With Lodestar, you can be sure that you're getting a top-notch consultant who isn't on their first assignment. At Lodestar, our philosophy is to have our customers work with us hands-on while we're doing our implementation. We don't believe an engagement should take 8 or 12 months. We train you as we're building. This way, once we build 1 or 2 models, you will feel confident that you can create any additional models going forward. Of course, we'll always be there for you if you have any questions. But our goal truly is to not have an extended engagement. We provide customized on-site training. The training material is geared towards your models. It is not based upon sample data that comes with the software. Our consultants are cross-trained, so when we create a budget or planning model, there isn't rework necessary to bring that data into BI for consumption. Lodestar hosts user groups in Chicago, Atlanta, Michigan, Florida, and we also have virtual user groups. The great thing about the user group is it gives you an opportunity to see how other people are using the software. So if you've created a budgeting and planning model and you attend one of our user groups, you may see someone who created an HR human resource planning model. So you can learn and see how they use the software to create that model and take it back to your company. And then you've already paid for the licenses, you're just extending the use of it so that way you're maximizing your return on investment. We host educational webinars, similar to one today, and networking sessions. We call them Lodestar Social Club. This way, it allows us to really push out more information to you. IBM is constantly purchasing new software, and a lot of it is free. So with that, we like to make sure that you're aware of what's available to you. And again, just similar to how we review your license structure, we're just putting more information out there so that you can be an informed consumer. What is Predictive Analytics? Predictive Analytics helps organizations use their data to make better decisions by allowing them to draw reliable, data-driven conclusions about current conditions and future events. Predictive Analytics encompasses a variety of techniques such as statistics, game theory, and data mining to do this analysis and make these predictions. So by deploying Predictive Analytics, organizations are addressing their business issues proactively to get the best outcomes. Predictive Analytics can use all available data. So when we talk predictive analytics, we're talking about all the big data that you hear in the news, whether it's information that's on Facebook or Twitter or emails, chat conversations. If you have a call center, we can use the notes from your call center. It doesn't have to be formatted in a certain way. We can take the tone of the information that's in social media and translate that into a sentiment that the customer had for your products. We can also take attitudinal data, such as opinions and preferences, survey results, take all that information, bring it all together with the social media, with your attributes and your characteristics of your model, geographical information, behavioral data such as orders, payment history, usage history, take all that together and get a 360-degree view of the problem and allow you to act quicker and more effectively to the issues that face your company. Companies have been using predictive analytics at an increasing rate. eHarmony is a company whose main business is to look at people's preferences and try to create a match based upon a proprietary algorithm that looks at successful historical matches and suggests the best possible match. Monster.com receives thousands of resumes every day. It sorts through each of these resumes, looking for keywords and experiences that match the company's needs. In the 2012 presidential election, both President Barack Obama and Mitt Romney used analytics to target voters. They tailored their messages based on information that they acquired through research that was done on public records. Google tries out ads constantly to see which ones users respond to better. It also suggests certain products based upon searches that other users have made and found useful. Amazon, Pandora, kind of understand how that works. Amazon suggests certain things to you based upon your previous buying history or things that other people have bought similar things similar to what you purchased, and then suggests things for you to purchase. Pandora looks at music and understands certain people like certain types of music, so suggests certain types of music to people who have information in Pandora that suggests they like a certain type of music. Continental Airlines, they perform tests on customer satisfaction by making certain offers to certain customers and seeing which ones are the most effective. FICO, Visa, MasterCard, they all control your finances based upon how other people with similar profiles have performed. Visa uses predictive analytics to predict divorce rate based upon credit card usage. This allows them to better predict their default probability. So you can see it. Lots of companies out there are using predictive analytics to gain additional insights into their customers. A few more examples of predictive analytics. Airlines. Airlines will skip over their most frequent flyers when a flight is canceled to give the seat to the most, what they call mine-identified customer, whose business is the most at risk. So they say, you know, this person flies with me all the time. The chances of them leaving me are very slim, so I'm going to target the customer that is more picky about who they fly with. Maybe they're just going on rate, maybe they're just going on experience, and I want to make sure that I'm targeting them because they're the most at risk. Harris Casinos. So casinos use analytics in the most interesting way. Harris tracks customers' hand-by-hand transactions with their casino. They combine this information in real time along with the customer's age, race, and average income in the customer's hometown to determine how much money they can extract from the customer and still maintain their business. They call this their pain point. This information is then plugged into a regression. As a customer approaches the pain point, someone that they call a luck ambassador approaches the customer and they may offer the customer a free dinner. So that they're taking this painful experience and they're turning it around and making it into a good experience and making you more likely to revisit their casino, even though you've lost money to it. Orbits, firms are now able to target certain groups that have higher pain points. If your walkaway price is higher than mine, data mining allows firms to extract more money from you than it would from me. Orbitz recently announced that they changed the order of available flights for people who access their site from Apple computers because Apple owners are typically more willing to pay a higher price than any other consumer. We got a few more here for you. In sports, so just giving you a wide variety of industries and uses of predictive analytics. In Major League Baseball, famous in the movie Moneyball and the Oakland A's and Billy Beane, how he's able to revolutionize how every team evaluates talent. In the NBA, someone from his name is Anthony Perez. He's the director of business strategy for the Orlando Magic. He said 18 to 20 months ago, we knew virtually nothing about predictive analytics. Today, the established practice is not only helping optimize ticket sales, but is also providing tools to help the coaching staff pick the best lineups for each game and which potential players offer the best value for the money. The team began using analytic models to predict which games would oversell and which would undersell. The box office then took that information and adjusted prices to maximize attendance and profits. The results are they had the largest ticket revenue in the history of their franchise, and that year they only played 34 games of a 45-game season, and that was due to the lockout. So you can see in a 9-game reduced season, or actually 11-game reduced season, they're able to maximize their profit just using the analytics. The NFL is probably everyone's favorite game. Over this past year, the Atlanta Falcons, the New York Giants, and the Jacksonville Jaguars began using GPS tracking technology on the players to maximize which routes they should run. So players have a GPS tracker on them during practice time, and they're able to see how they run each route, how much time it takes them to get to a certain spot, and how long it takes the quarterback to release the ball and get it to them. So they can optimize the routes that are best for their players. Also in the NFL, among the teams that are riding the stats wave are the Ravens, who announced in August that they hired a former NBA statistical consultant with degrees from Yale and Carnegie Mellon to lead their new analytics department. They're now catching up to their opponents, teams like the Patriots and the 49ers, who have lured Stanford MBAs to lead their analytics department. So you can see the best teams in the NFL have an analytics department, where all they do is analyze players, plays, strategy, and that's leading the way for the NFL. You wouldn't think that a sport like the NFL would be so advanced in how to use the information that's available, but in the cutthroat NFL, you need to take every advantage they can. Procter and Gamble. Consumer products company Procter and Gamble makes extensive use of analytics to project future trends, but it wasn't always this way, says Guy Perry. He's the director of business intelligence for Procter & Gamble's Global Business Services Organization. He says, this used to be a rear-view-looking company, but what happened 6 months ago isn't actionable. Now we're using advanced analytics to be more forward-looking and to manage by exception, which means separating out the anomalies to identify and project genuine trends. Procter & Gamble uses predictive analytics for everything from projecting the growth of markets and market shares to predicting when manufacturing equipment will fail. And it uses visualization to help executives see which events are normal business variations and which require intervention. The last story I have for you is Target. Now, Target made a lot of news because of a mistake that they made. It wasn't really a mistake, but the short part of the story is they sent an ad to a teenage girl, and they received a lot of flack from it because in this ad, they were basically sending a teenage girl information on pregnancy, and her parents didn't even know that she was pregnant, so it caused a lot of issues when the parents saw that they were targeting her with a pregnancy ad, and it turns out that she was pregnant, so they received a lot of flack for that. But most shoppers don't buy everything they need at one store. Instead, they buy groceries at the grocery store, toys at the toy store, and they visit Target only when they need certain items they associate with Target. Things such as cleaning supplies, or new socks, or maybe even a 6-month supply of toilet paper. But Target sells everything from milk to stuffed animals, to lawn furniture, to electronics. So one of the company's primary goals is convincing customers that the only store they need to go is Target. But it's a tough message to get across, even with the most ingenious ad campaigns, because once consumers' shopping habits are established, it's hard to change them. They found, though, there are some brief moments in a person's life when old routines fall apart and buying habits are suddenly in flux. One of those moments, and actually really the moment, is right around the birth of a child. When parents are exhausted and overwhelmed, and their shopping patterns and brand loyalties become up for grabs. The timing is everything, because birth records are usually public. The moment a couple has a new baby, they're almost instantaneously barraged with offers, and incentives, and advertisements from all sorts of companies. This means that the key is to reach them earlier, before any other retailers know a baby is on the way. Specifically, Target marketers said they wanted to send specifically designed ads to women in their second trimester, which is when most expectant mothers begin buying all sorts of new things, like prenatal vitamins and maternity clothing. Many shoppers purchase soap and cotton balls. When someone suddenly starts buying lots of scent-free soap and extra big bags of cotton balls, in addition to hand sanitizers and washcloths, it signals that they could be getting close to the delivery date. As Target's computers crawled through the data, they were able to identify about 25 products that when analyzed together allowed them to assign each shopper a pregnancy prediction score. More important, Target could also estimate the mother's due date to within a small window, so Target could send coupons timed to very specific stages of the pregnancy. So you can see the advantage that Target's getting by leveraging the amount of information that they have. Now, it's not only for consumer companies or airlines, sports teams. You also have things such as the police department. So the problem that the Memphis Police Department was facing was that they had violent crime was up 2.5%. You know, in the past few years, budgets, local government, state government has been reducing, so they have less budget, less resources. A lot of their important case information was getting buried in paper files and spreadsheets because there wasn't enough people to handle all this information. Officials really struggled to predict and to track and really respond swiftly to the unfolding crime. So the solution that they had was to employ a predictive analytics model, IBM SPSS statistics, to handle all this large amount of data. The results of this was reduce serious crime by 30% and violent crime by 15%. They were able to increase their conviction rate fourfold and up 16% to nearly, from 16% to nearly 70%. It's four times the amount of return on your conviction rates. They were able to realize an 863% ROI within 2.7 months, with the average annual benefit of $7.2 million. So to get an 863% return on investment is amazing, but to be fully paid back in 2.7 months is it's the best project you could have. Insurance is more of a probably obvious place where you could see that the benefits of predictive analytics, but I'll give you an example of it here. Infinity Property and Casualty. The challenge that they faced was an issue with fraudulent claims. So a lot of time was being spent processing and going through claims and identifying which ones could be fraudulent. So they wanted to really speed up the process so that they could spend more time on the real claims and helping their true customers, and less time dealing with these fraudulent claims. They also wanted to lower the high monthly cost for subrogation, which is a process of collecting damages from the at-fault insurance companies. So the solution they chose was to go with an IBM SPSS Modeler solution. Using this predictive model, they spot suspicious claims early, so they're able to expedite their legitimate claims. Claims are continually analyzed and scored during the process, and questionable claims are now referred to the company's special investigations unit in 95% less time. So you're going from an average time frame of 45 to 60 days down to a time frame of 1 to 3 days. Amazing reduction in time. The result of this was reduced time to refer suspicious claims or investigations from 14 days to under 24 hours. They were able to achieve a 403% return on investment, and it's still paying them. And they were able to achieve payback within the first 3 months. That's amazing. And also, they were able to double the accuracy of the fraudulent claim identification. So all these are tremendous benefits that you're getting by using IBM Cognos and the SPSS Modeler package. The 3 pillars of predictive analytics. So I kind of skipped through these slides, so I just want to show you the full picture here. The most common area to focus area for predictive analytics is around customer analytics, and you saw through the examples that I showed you. There are quite a few examples on customer analytics. But this enables organizations to better understand their customers and predict what they like to do. By acquiring customers more efficiently, growing the value of existing customers, and retaining profitable customers for longer, all these goals are assisted by prediction. For example, whether an individual from a mailing list is likely to be a profitable customer, or whether they're likely to be interested in a particular product, or whether someone's behavior indicates that they may be thinking of switching to another supplier. That's all valuable information, and that's all information and results that you can get using SPSS. Operational analytics generally revolves around assets, whether it be helping to manage physical or virtual assets, from identifying the right physical inventory to stock in your supply chain, to assessing how many components to purchase to support your production facilities, really enables organizations to maintain physical infrastructure and capital equipment. And by ensuring the allocation of people and cash in the most efficient manner, they're able to maximize their capital. For example, preventing unscheduled downtime of a truck by analyzing the service history to identify certain parts that are likely to fail based on the conditions or environment it's working in, rather than just on time. Well, we have a lot of case studies around predictive maintenance. Mercedes-Benz, it's not just for large customers, but a lot of the examples are large customers. But Mercedes-Benz, they're able to reduce their warranty costs because they were able to identify a problem with their blinker. And it happened to be that there's a problem with the blinker due to in a failed seal around the rear tail light. Now, normally you wouldn't associate, and this is the blinker that was on the mirror on the driver's side, so it would take a lot of time to figure out what's going on, what's causing this blinker to fail. So they're able to catch it by running processes using predictive maintenance. So they're able to understand what are the associated things that are going on when the taillight's out. Is the blinker also out? But you go into it without knowing what the problem is. You put it through Modeler, and Modeler sorts through and it tries to find patterns and associate which ones are more likely to cause the problem. And then you can go through and hone in and find exactly where the problem stemmed from. So it saved them plenty of time just researching the problem, and also they were able to cut down on their costs just because they were able to identify it so fast. The third most common group of application is around the area of threat and fraud analytics. Here, analytics is used to detect suspicious or anomalous transactions, like potentially fraud insurance claims or detect money laundering activities. In this case, it is about monitoring your environment by including a wide variety of data across multiple sources, detecting suspicious behavior to identify threats, information breaches, crime or fraud, and then control the outcomes to deliver the best response to reduce exposure or loss and maximize the impact of an action taken. So there are three areas of where organizations are looking to use predictive analytics to get better business outcomes. The SPSS portfolio is broad in terms of capabilities, ranging from data collection, social media's analysis with cognitive consumer insight, statistics, data mining through deployment with decision management. So you can see here all the SPSS family. We've got data collection, consumer insight, statistics, Modeler, and then decision management at the end. We're focusing this webinar on Modeler. So the Modeler overview. This data mining and text analytics workbench allows users to create predictive intelligence by uncovering patterns and relationships in the data. The data can be structured or unstructured. Structured meaning that you can use the data like age, gender, marital status, income, and unstructured, which is things like textual data in call center notes, social media context, or other open text. The concepts are then extracted from the text, along with the sentiment, which can then be used in the model building process. By combining a person's thoughts and attitudes with their demographics and other attributes, you're able to greatly increase the accuracy of the model. Predictive analytics allows organizations to become proactive, anticipating outcomes or behaviors based upon the data and not on a hunch or gut feel. And when predictive analytics is deployed within a business or operational system, the results can impact a wider audience and enhance the way things get done, leading to greater returns on the investment. SPSS, Modeler, statistics, they're all based upon the CRISP-DM methodology. It is a vendor-neutral methodology that was created many years ago, and it's a way of processing information. Business understanding. Business understanding focuses on understanding the project objectives and requirements from a business perspective. Data understanding begins the initial data collection and proceeds with activities in order to get familiar with the data, to identify data quality problems, and to discover first insights into the data. Data preparation. Data preparation tasks are likely to be performed multiple times and not in any prescribed order to construct the final data to be used in modeling. Modeling. This is where various modeling techniques are applied and often involve stepping back to the data preparation phase as more information comes to hand. Evaluation. Before proceeding to final deployment of the model, it is important to more thoroughly evaluate the model or models to be certain it properly achieves the business objectives. So when you look at this, it's an iterative process. The first few steps, maybe not as iterative. You get your understanding of your business, you understand what your need is, and then you get into your understanding your data, so you're applying the data to what your business needs are. And then the modeling part, you can go through multiple, and I advise that you go through multiple steps of this modeling, because the first time you go through, your results could be skewed. As you go through the process, you need to just revisit it multiple times to be sure that you have chosen the right algorithm to apply, to be sure that you've tested it in multiple different ways, that you're making sure you included certain variables and excluding other variables, and seeing what effect that has on your data. So you're going to go through that step multiple times and going through the evaluation before you finally deploy the model. The different versions of Modeler, there's two. There's professional and there's premium. Professional is really geared towards a business that just wants to look at data that's in their data warehouse or data that's being housed on their server somewhere, where it's all structured GL data, someone's age, their gender, their race, their income level, all that structured data. Modeler Premium takes it beyond the structured data and really goes into that unstructured information. We're getting information such as web activity, and if there's blog content information, if you have a survey, you get some customer feedback, if you want to scan through emails or articles that are out on the web, and really you can put out a crawler on the web and get information back, and then take that information to kind of get the sentiment of what your customer is saying. So it's more of an advanced model. And now they have things such as entity analytics. And entity analytics takes you to another level where you could have two people with the same name, but something in their background is slightly different. So someone may be trying to impersonate someone else. So it allows you to really identify, to be sure that you have the correct person that you're talking to on the phone, or the correct person that's applying for a credit card with you. It goes through to verify that you're not choosing someone that has the same name, same birth date, but they're in a different state, but the town name is the same name. So it gets down to that level where, if you just quickly glanced over it, you may have missed it. And then it takes you on to the social network analysis, where you get the discover your relationships among social entities, so you can see if someone's married, if you have two people that have negative comments about you, whether it's the same person or whether it's two married people. So it goes through and gives you much more information, so you can really make informed decisions on what's going on with your business. So modeler capabilities. So how does Modeler differ from any other statistical program? Modeler, statistics wasn't my greatest subject in school. I took it. I did business statistics. It was required, and I took it. But Modeler takes it to the next stage where it's really got a user-friendly interface. It doesn't require programming. It's great if you know programming, and you can go off of not knowing any statistics. But I would advise not going that route. It's better to really be able to understand what you're looking at and what your results are. So Modeler, you can create an SPSS Modeler model, and it will work perfectly fine. It's drag and drop. It's really easy to use. But being able to interpret what it gives you at the end, it probably requires some knowledge of statistics. But it has a lot of automated functions that really make things easier, because the goal of Modeler is to take the statistics package and really allow the business users to be able to understand and to be able to do predictive models on their own without having a whole stats department. It has the ability to pull together various data sources and clean and analyze data all in one place. So you're not going all over the place, sourcing different data sources to get to your end results. And in Modeler Premium, having the ability to mine text from various sources in the same application is a huge lift up over any of the competition. SP Analytics takes it to the next level, as I mentioned, enables the user to match case in the data and to build stronger models. So the more things you can verify as fact, it's going to make your model more reliable and make it more useful and effective. And finally, Modeler can add value by interfacing with all of your other IBM investments. So it can sit on top of TM1, sit with business intelligence, Cognos 10. All those things work well with Modeler. You can use Cognos Insight as your reporting tool off of Modeler. So it's built into the IBM family, although it can work separately, but it's made to interface with the IBM family. So IBM SPSS modeling techniques. So the techniques, here are some examples of them. Classification or categorical. The type of example would be, what is the likelihood that a customer will cancel their contract with you? Or what is the likelihood that a customer will purchase our product? That's kind of the classification way of looking at it. What amounts of money is a customer expected to spend on our website? Those are things that we keep under classification. Under segmentation are questions like, what types of customers are buying our products? What kinds of customers don't we reach with our marketing campaign? So you're dealing with different market segments, so that's why we break it down into the segmentation. And then you get into association. What products are purchased together? What series of clicks on a web page lead to a purchase? So it's more of the situation with Target where 25 products come together to predict when a woman needs to. So that's where you get the combination of things that, taken separately, you wouldn't think they go together, but then you run it through an association model, you can get to a meaningful result there. And then you showed there's a brief summation here on this chart where you can see the type of algorithms that you're going to use. And you see there's more than one algorithm, each one of these classifications. So that's why I said you're going to run through these things a few times, because you want to be sure that you're choosing the right algorithm to give you the best result. Here is a view of SPSS Modeler. SPSS Modeler, it's a canvas, it's a stream. So again, it's very easy to look. You can see how your data is flowing in. It's coming in. Here you can see you've got some historical data coming off SQL. You've got some information coming from Microsoft Excel, and you've got information from your IBM Cognos BI environment. You're going to merge that together. You're going to select, so that's the merge node that you see there. Each one of these little circles are what we call a node. So you can merge it together in that merge node. Again, easily named as merge. You're selecting out certain things, so there you have a select node. So you're going to feed it into a select node to select certain things, and then from there you're going to derive certain information, which will then be filtered into certain types. So then from there we can push it through to our auto classifier, which classifies it and actually runs the algorithm. So it's going through and it's choosing which type of algorithm to run, and then your model at the end, so the results, if you double click on the model, it opens up the results. Here it's easy to use for steps in data protocol, or what we call the flow of the data. They're clearly recorded, easy to follow, and easy to rerun. So here you build this model out, you click that play button up top, get the Microsoft type toolbar at the top here, so you click the play button, and you're going to run it again. You click it again, and run it again. So easy to use. Once you build the model out, you can make changes to it and rerun it instantly. The data is housed, it's cleansed, and it's analyzed all in one place. So you're going to bring the information into SPSS, where you're going to house it, clean it by running it through these merging and selecting, deriving, and filtering, and then you're going to analyze it here. It's going to bring up a report that you can look at. So it's, again, very easy to use, very user-friendly. It's not a very scary thing to look at here. The nodes palette. So the nodes palette is what you see here at the bottom of the screen. Most of the data and modeling tools in SPSS Modeler reside in the nodes palette across the bottom of the window below the canvas. For example, the Record Ops palette contains nodes that you can use to perform operations on the data record, such as selecting, merging, and appending. So if you look at the bottom, you see, just like Microsoft Excel, different tabs at the bottom. We call that the nodes palette. And what I just said to you was the Record Ops. That would be another tab that's on the your Microsoft Excel sheet. Click on that tab, it brings up different options for you. Each palette tab contains a collection of related nodes used for different phases of stream operations, such as sources, record ops, field ops, graphs, modeling, data modeling, output, export, SPSS statistics. So each one of these nodes does different things. The source node brings you into the sources for the data. The record node perform operations on data records such as selecting, merging, and appending. The field ops node performs operations on data fields such as filtering, deriving new fields, and determining the measurement level for each given field. So I'm not going to take you through each one of these tabs, but you can see here it's really pretty easy to use. You can click on the tab to do what you need to do, drag a node onto the canvas, connect it, and then it's going to run the data. So again, very, very simple to use. The canvas, I keep talking about the stream canvas. Once the nodes are added to the canvas and connected, they form a stream which describes the process that will be executed, allowing the data to flow through it and making it easy for someone else to see what's happening. To give you a sense of what Modeler can do, here's an example of a stream. In this example, using the merge node, data is pulled together from three sources: a Cognos file, SQL file, and Excel file. Using the select node, a subset of these three data is taken, so similar to what I mentioned before. In the derive node, a new field is created. Using the filter, specific fields are filtered out. Some data exploration is taking place. There are 4 nodes that are created here, so the distribution of the web, the 17 fields in the Memphis service, those are the data exploration fields. And then finally, that auto classifier node is used to automatically test and generate a number of predictive models simultaneously for the user to review and choose from the base criteria. In this case, the user is interested in predicting a categorical outcome such as churn. So you can see what your churn ratio is if you're a telecom company or someone that has customers that tend to churn. So companies such as AT&T or Verizon, they want to see their churn rate, or Comcast. They want to see what their churn rate is to be sure that they're adding enough subscribers to offset, or they're adding more subscribers to offset their losing. Here, the screen, it doesn't look like it's been changing, but it's slightly changing, each one of these screens here. At the top right window is the manager's pane, which are used to manage streams, output, and models. You can use the Streams tab to open, rename, save, and delete the streams created in the session. The Outputs tab contains a variety of files such as graphs and tables produced by stream operations in the IBM SPSS Modeler. You can display, save, rename, and close the tabs, graphs, and reports listed in the tab. The Models tab is the most powerful in the management tabs. This tab contains all model nuggets. So you can see upper right, that's where you have all your model nuggets. These models can be browsed directly from the Models tab or added to the stream of the canvas. In the bottom right corner is a Projects pane. This is used to create, manage, and data mining projects. Group files that are related for data mining tasks. So you can see here your business understanding, data understanding, data prep, modeling, evaluation, and deployment. And those all are in the CRISP method. So it organizes it based upon the CRISP method, because that's the way we believe you should model and go about your project. So we're not going to get into entity analytics. We're going to save that for another presentation. So I want to thank you for attending our webinar today, and look for our next SPSS Modeler presentation coming soon.